Good job. So I'm a big believer that kids learn really well by experience and by having things to look at and, touch and look at and understand and experience and do things and go out. The early part of the Bible is a story about people journeying through the wilderness, people journeying through space and time, and they learned about God through that way. So I thought we could do a little experiment and kind of maybe have our own experience here today. So we're going to go back to the first century, a long, long time ago, right? And Jesus of Nazareth, right, coming of age, probably in his late 20s, early 30s, right? And he's journeying with his friends, and he's starting to reveal his identity as being fully human, but also fully God. And we get to a point in John's gospel where Jesus is in the desert for some time. So close your eyes for a minute. Picture a really, really, really hot summer day. So hot outside. You get in the car, you get out of the car, you're just sweating. It's so hot. And then you go play with your friends. And you go run around, and you go in the jungle gym, and you go on the swings. There's a pool over there, but you don't go in it. You want to play with your friends. You're running around. And it's really, 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 really warm and hot out. And you get back to your home and open your eyes. It's so hot. All you want to do is have a sip of water or juice or something, right? So you have your little bottle of water here, so open it up. Okay, maybe we could. All right, and just take a little sip of water and then close it up. And when you take your sip, go, All right. All right. All right. So make sure, keep these waters in the pews. Make sure to take them home or put them in the garbage, all right? Shh. Why do we need water? That's a really good question. For this project. I'm going to get into it. So let me explain. All right. So the first movement in today's gospel, right, is that Jesus encounters this woman at the well, right? The Samaritan woman. And back in the day, Samaritans and the Jewish people didn't really get along, right? So they were two groups in the community that didn't really like each other that much. So they wouldn't hang out with each other or talk to each other. And Jesus had been journeying through the desert, right? And because Jesus is fully human, right? Say it with me. Jesus is fully human, right? He gets to the midday and he just needs a sip of water. Right? Because human beings need water, right? So that's the first movement. Jesus reveals to us that he's fully human. The next movement is he reveals that he's fully divine. But before we get there, I want to explain to you a little bit about the Samaritan woman that's at the well in the midday. So normally you wouldn't do really hard work in the middle of summer at 3 p.m, would you? That's pool time, right? Or beach time. That's not... You would play video games inside because it's air conditioned, right? Most people on a 100-degree day at 3 p.m. wouldn't be outside. There was a reason, though, that she was outside at 3 p.m. Because her history, she had maybe some decisions that she made in her life that weren't the right decisions. So she felt embarrassed. She felt very embarrassed. And so all the women would normally go out in the morning, early in the morning, and then they would go to the well and they would get their supplies for the day. They would go to the market. But this woman who just felt very embarrassed about the way she had lived her life has to go secretly at 3 p.m. at the hottest part of the day, right? And Jesus, doesn't shame her or embarrass her, but starts to ask questions that reveal that she wasn't on the right path. How does that relate to us? What does it mean for us to be on the right path? Hang on one sec. I'll get to you in a sec. No questions yet. So this past week, I got to go visit some classrooms in the school over there. And I remember specifically going to second grade. I know. And about 5 years ago, I visited another second grade school when I was at a different assignment as a priest. And I asked this question. I said, boys and girls, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we could take 5 answers. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a marine biologist.
A marine biologist. Great answer. 2. A YouTuber. Okay. 3. A what? A construction worker. A dance teacher. And 5. A veterinarian. Good. Now put your hands down. So 5 years ago, when I asked the second grade class, I had one person that said that they wanted to be a celebrity, a YouTuber, somebody that creates content and gets people to like them through the things, places that they travel to and, how cool they present themselves online, the things that they do and say, right? And they make money that way, right? And most of the kids said things like veterinarian and doctor and lawyer and teacher and all these other things, right? When I went to the second grade class this past week, I had 5 kids that said that they wanted to be celebrities. So what does that tell me? And particularly YouTubers. It tells me that there's a real fascination with being popular, right? With being known, with being seen. And I remember one girl, she said, I just want to be rich because that's how you get your money and you become popular and life is easy when you're rich. So there's, I don't know who it was, but my, we're not, but we're not, that's not the point. It's not the point about who it is. The point is that boys and girls, that there's an influence in our society, in our culture, to be an influencer, right? To be popular, to get money, right? To have cool things, right? But Jesus is trying to reveal to us that all of those things pass away, right? Just like that sip of water, it's gone. It's done. It's gone. Once your bottle of water is finished, what is the bottle? Once it's empty, once it's finished, it's empty. Once it's finished, it's empty. Once it's finished, it's empty. Stop saying trash. It's empty. And the point is, all rubbish, but all of those things that you're going to be tempted to pursue, right? Fame and wealth and food and beverage and all of those things, when they're finished, are empty, right? And there's only one thing that's never going to be empty. God. The living water. And it's so interesting because Jesus takes the sinfulness of the Samaritan woman, that thing that she was ashamed about, doesn't shame her, but utilizes her to spread the good news to the village. And then that whole village was converted to love God and to love their neighbors. And then Jesus comes, and they no longer believe because of her word, but because of her word and because of their faith, then they get the source. Because of their faith, because they trusted her and they got to know her and they believed the things that she was telling, that faith led them to be able to receive the source. Wow. So that's cool. So that's John's gospel. It's heavy. There's a lot going on in there. John's gospel. Maybe a priest deacon, maybe one day. I don't know. But so I want you to remember this moment. I don't want you to live for water that's ultimately going to be empty. I want you to live for the living water. To place your trust and have faith in God, and then you'll receive the source. Amen? All right, back to your seats. Don't throw the water all over the pews. Make sure to take it home with you. It's yours. It's a gift. All right, give it to your mom or dad. All right. Shh. All right, thank you. All right.